Comrade Speaker. Let me quickly take this opportunity, like my colleagues before me, to congratulate you, sir, on your appointment as Speaker of the National Assembly. And of course, I would equally want to extend belated birthday greetings to the Honorable Deputy Speaker of the National Assembly and birthday greetings to the Honorable Member, Mr. Mustafar. Comrade Speaker, I would first want to respond to the Honorable Member, Mr. Joseph Hamilton. I see he's exited the chambers. Essentially, Comrade Speaker, on Monday when the Honorable Member spoke, he made reference to the young members on this side of the House. And he made a statement that no member on this side of the House has any barber chairs in their homes. Comrade Speaker, I would like to say to the Honorable Member in this House that I am indeed happy that none of the members on that side of the House or even this side of the House has any barber chairs, whether those chairs have been legally obtained in their home. Because, Comrade Speaker, if they did, they would have experienced firsthand in which myself, my 7-year-old daughter, my 13 and 17-year-old sons experience state terrorism. Comrade Speaker, to have 49 policemen, some heavily armed, some with bulletproof vests, 9 police mobile patrol units, the street blocked off with police barricades, and the immediate community that I reside in was plunged into blackout. Yesterday, Comrade Speaker, the Honorable Member, Ms. Vindhya Prasad, spoke about post-traumatic distress, my apologies, post-traumatic stress disorder. And Comrade Speaker, I want to say to this House that if the honorable members on that side of the House have their wife or husband or children and they experience what I did on that fateful night, they will understand the reason that just yesterday, Comrade Speaker, while we were debating this budget, my wife had to take our 7-year-old daughter for the 5th time for psychological treatment. And what is noteworthy to mention in this House, Comrade Speaker, the mere fact that ever since these debates began on Monday, you hear members from the government side of the House making reference to these barber chairs, etc. It tells you, or rather, Comrade Speaker, it confirms that it was a clear case of political victimization. Comrade Speaker, despite the courts of this country, because the honorable member spoke about democracy, the courts of this country on that fateful night, Comrade Speaker, issued an order restraining the police from entering my premises. And when they were served with that order, Comrade Speaker, they say that they don't abide by that. And that order was thrown on the ground. So, Comrade Speaker, when the honorable member Barry Ramsaran made reference to the point about Guyana being back on track, we asked the question, what track is he referring to? Because Guyanese across the length and breadth of this country, Comrade Speaker, can refer to the days under the People's Progressive Party Civic, when democracy did not exist, where the police force would have been used to victimize opposition members. So Guyana being back on track, Comrade Speaker, in the days that we know of, Comrade, is not what the people of Guyana want. Comrade Speaker, I turn my attention to the budget 2020. Or as expressed by the Honorable Member Duncan, the project. Comrade Speaker, for the last 4 days, I sat in this house as a member who served in the 10th Parliament and having a very short stint. And of course, working in the parliaments before that as a mere public relations officer. It was expected, Comrade Speaker, that we would have heard from the members of the government side defending this document. But rather than that, Comrade Speaker, all we heard was political platform gaffe. Comrade Speaker, the Honorable Minister of Youth, Sports and Culture who just spoke spent 34 or 33 of his allotted 35 minutes on political gaffe and provided this House and the nation and the young people he professed to represent no vision for that ministry that he served in. One was expecting, Comrade Speaker, save and except for the learned senior members on that side of the House, that the young people that he spoke about would have come with vibrant energy to represent their respective ministries, Comrade Speaker. We've heard nothing. All we heard is let me take my shoe off, and another member who discovered leaks and patch a hole within a month. Comrade Speaker, this budget 2020 has no vision. The honorable young ministers that spoke earlier between the days past, Comrade Speaker, spoke of no vision for their respective ministry. Comrade Speaker, Proverbs 29:18 states, and I quote, "A nation or a people without a vision shall perish." The honorable member who presented the budget to this honorable House is very familiar with the Bible and the verses I just quoted, or so I would want to believe. He ought not to be surprised, Comrade Speaker, at the pain we felt for the 4+ hours that the honorable member read from a 90+ page document. And in that document, Comrade Speaker, absolutely no mention of the government's vision for this nation. This budget, Comrade Speaker, front to back, bottom to top, left to right, is devoid of any vision. It will only bring more punishment and agony to the people of this country. Comrade Speaker, in their haste to disassociate with everything APNU-AFC, the PPP has dispensed with vision, but they have never been a party, Comrade Speaker, with vision. Comrade Speaker, in 2015, the APNU-AFC government produced a national budget which provided hope for the Guyanese people and envisioned a government which was working to provide the people of this country with a good life. This hope, Comrade Speaker, materialized into tangible development for the people of Guyana, which was the step in the right direction. The people of Guyana enjoy a higher standard of living under the APNU-AFC government. And what this budget is seeking to do, Comrade Speaker, is to reverse the gains of the coalition government and plunge the people of Guyana back into an era where they cannot afford basic amenities, while the PPP friends, family within the private sector stand to benefit significantly from this budget. Mr. Speaker, the PPP has departed from the prosperous path paved by the coalition government and is now parading half-fulfilled promises under the guise that this is a people's budget. When you compare this project to the manifesto of the People's Progressive Party Civic, several questions come to mind, or questions are at large. I'll give you some examples. Where is the 50% increase to the public servants? Missing in action, they deceive Guyanese. Where is the free University of Guyana education? Missing in action, they have deceived Guyanese. Where is the 50,000 cash grant? Missing in action, they have deceived Guyanese. Where is the 1 month non-taxable bonus for the joint services? Missing in action. They have deceived Guyanese. And to talk about the police force, Comrade Speaker, I mentioned just earlier my personal experience. What a travesty that unit has now become. Instead of a real Minister of Finance, we are saddled with a fake Minister of Finance who read the budget and his only experience is perhaps collecting tithes from the church. Front to back, top to bottom, left to right, this budget, Comrade Speaker, is shrouded in deceit. It is deceptive to the people of this country. Comrade Speaker, I refer this House to Comrade Speaker, to the official report of the Parliament, Monday, the 10th of August 2015, in which the then Minister of Finance, the Honorable Winston Jordan, presented the APNU-AFC's first budget in government. And this budget, Comrade Speaker, a total of 48 pages allocated to articulate the APNU-AFC's vision for this nation. This document, Comrade Speaker, is titled A Good Life 2015-2020. Comrade Speaker, what should be more frightening to every Guyanese is that this budget is devoid of a COVID recovery plan, or CRP. What this budget has is another handout. No CRP for Guyana. As a nation and as Guyanese, we want to know how, as a country, we will emerge from this global pandemic. It appears as though the Minister of Health has been excommunicated, shut out from the budget. No input from him in terms of a COVID recovery plan can be detected. But that is not surprising, Comrade Speaker. COVID-19 in Guyana is now spiraling out of control. Huge numbers confirm every day, more deaths in 1 month than the previous 5 months under the APNU-AFC government. Comrade Speaker, Guyana is now contending with two pandemics, COVID-19 and the People's Progressive Party civil. But, Comrade Speaker, one ought not to be surprised of the absence of a COVID recovery plan in this budget. Those who prepared the budget, Comrade Speaker, which gave to the Honorable Member, Mr. Bishop Juan Edghill, to read it, were too ashamed to read it themselves. But they are clueless when it comes to a recovery plan. But, Comrade Speaker, when the PPP came into office in 1992, they plagiarized and utilized the PNC's economic recovery program then. Now that they're back in office, they are at a loss for COVID-19 recovery plan. Perception and reality. Comrade Speaker, I've often said, in life and politics, there is perception and there is reality. The PPP is now operating in that reality. And that reality, Comrade Speaker, is their term in office is short. They know, Comrade Speaker, that an election petition is before the courts. And once heard, this country will be back to fresh elections. And as such, Comrade Speaker, they have no medium-term or long-term plans because they know what is coming. The elections petition, Comrade Speaker, once heard, will make clear of the words of this song, so long, bye-bye. Those hundreds of public servants whose jobs have been terminated, those contractors whose contracts were terminated, and of course, Comrade Speaker, the villages that seen unrest and the shedding of blood in just 40 days in office, we'll all be able to say or sing in those words, goodbye to my pain, goodbye to my sorrows. So long, bye-bye.
Honorable member, I don't want to say so long bye-bye to you, so please seek an extension to continue to conclude.
Mr. Speaker, I move for the honorable member to be given 5 minutes to complete his presentation.
Thank you, honorable member. Honorable Opposition Chief Whip, you may continue. I welcome you
Thank,
back.
thank you, Comrade Speaker. This budget brings nothing to the people of Guyana. It offers scant expenditures to benefit the fat cats of the PPP. Hence, the lack of vision or specificity, because the PPP isn't for national development, but only seeking to appease their financiers. Comrade Speaker, it's reciprocity time, and the PPP has to pay. So, the people of Guyana, apparently, Comrade Speaker, will have to wait their turn. Comrade Speaker, I want to speak directly to the young people of this country. This budget has little to nothing for them. The budget disregards, disrespects, and discards them. Comrade Speaker, the APNU-AFC in government on the 1st of January launched its Decade of Development 2020-2029, which articulated a plan for national development. Young people at institutions of higher learning, Guyanese in the diaspora, young entrepreneurs, and the private sector all want to know, what is your 5, 10, 15, or 20 years plan for the nation? Can the Honorable Minister of Finance answer that? My apologies, the Honorable Minister of Public Works. A young person, Comrade Speaker, who is studying or is about to pursue studies wants to know in the next 5 years, upon completion of his or her studies, he or she, his or her skills are desirable. This, Comrade Speaker, is basic social economic planning, nothing new. Guyanese in the diaspora, persons in Canada, England, America, parts of the Caribbean, French Guyana, and other parts of the world, working in the various fields, Comrade Speaker. They want to return home. They want to come back to the motherland. But of course, Comrade Speaker, they need to know within 5, 10, or 15 years, their field of work will be available in Guyana with the appropriate remuneration so that they can start making preparation for remigration back home. Hence the need for a vision for this nation, of which, Comrade Speaker, this project does not present. A vision, Comrade Speaker, is not what only guides, but it drives a nation. The APNU-AFC's Decade of Development boasts of a first The APNU-AFC government Decade of Development boasts of a first-rate growing economy that is innovative and competitive, which generates jobs for everyone willing to work, a world-class education system in which every child attends and graduates from school. Every eligible person is accorded free tertiary education at the University of Guyana. Every teacher is trained and satisfactorily paid. A superior public care system providing the best treatment and care available. Communities in which there is a roof over every head, play fields and recreational facilities where children can play freely, where citizens are free to walk without molestation. A country with a modern infrastructure which would allow someone to drive from Crabot Creek on the Quarantine to Sand Creek in the Rupununi. And with every household, community, region, and businesses having access to the internet. In closing, Comrade Speaker, it is important to note that all the budgets presented by the coalition government could be dubbed a people's budget, with balanced measures to satisfy the needs of every citizen of this great country, as compared to this impulsive, feeble budget presented by the Honorable Minister of Public Works. Comrade Speaker, in closing, there is a caricature in which it features a lion and a monkey. The monkey, when it woke up one morning, with his eyes closed, stretched his hands and yawned and shouted these words, "I could eat a lion now." When he opened his eyes, Comrade Speaker, standing by his side happens to be a lion. That monkey closed his eyes and he stretched his arms and he said again, "When you wake up in the morning, you start some real stupidness." Comrade Speaker, that caricature reminds me of the People's Progressive Party civic. While the honorable members were on the campaign trail, they promised everyone across this country gold, diamond, and silver. Now that they are in the seat of the administration, they cannot present those promises that they made to the people. To close, Comrade Speaker, this budget, I'll close it in the words of the now deceased former television host, Mr. Laurie Alexander. The pages in this document features nothing more than potter potter lal poop in it, Comrade Speaker. I cannot support this budget in its entirety. Comrade Speaker, with those few words, this budget 2020 as presented by the People's Progressive Party Civic is lackluster, uninspiring, and of course, visionless. I cannot support it in its entirety. I thank you.